You're listening to episode 47 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Dr. Josh Hand. Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hand, and welcome to the Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we dive into what makes an awesome lifestyle. From relationships to money mindset, nutrition to fitness, emotional health to peak performance, we bring you on an amazing journey to unleashing your human potential. All right, so I want to welcome everybody back. Today is a little different, as you can hear, that I'm not introducing a guest today. This is the first time I'm doing this. I'm not sure if it's going to be the last, but it's been a very interesting past 3, 4, 5 weeks in this world and the past week in my life. And I want to just share and reflect on some of these things because life is very valuable. Life is very precious. And there are a lot of things that I think are God-given to us that we have the right to have, not by the government giving it to us, but just being alive, being human. We have these rights. So for those of you who've listened to the past couple episodes, and maybe a few more, I don't remember what I've actually shared, but you all know we had just passed our dog Cody, who was 14 years and 3 months old. He was a German Shepherd Husky, one of the cutest dogs. You can actually see images of him on Instagram, on Facebook. I share a lot with him. This guy had a really great life, and the last 4 months were a little challenging. It went for one day in those 4 months, and then the last day in the 4 months were real challenging. So if I kind of get a little sniffly during this, it's because I'm thinking of him and I miss him. But we all learn throughout life from different people, different events, different challenges. And I want all of you who have dogs, or maybe you don't, or a pet, a cat, I think there's a definite bond, a loving bond between a human and their pet, and especially a dog. Maybe I'm a little biased, but there are certain things I think we can all learn. And as I reflect and think about, his 14 years, and, we take them for granted, or I take them for granted. My wife and I took him for granted. We think he's going to live forever because we absolutely love this guy. And what I've been able to reflect on when I'm actually not crying and thinking about him, which I've been doing pretty good at not doing the past couple days, is, a pet will give you unconditional love. And as a human, that's not something that's found with each other. No matter if you yell at a dog, you can get over it and you want to snuggle with them. Whatever it may be, they're always going to be by your side. They're always listening to you. They love, if you're sitting talking to them, they'll kind of look at you with your, their head tilting one way or another. And it's always really awesome to have that kind of thing around. A dog is around more than, I would say, most people. I don't have any kids. My wife and I, we don't have any kids, so he was our four-legged furry kid. And unlike a human, when we were home, he was always around us. Where those of us who have kids, not me, I could use myself as an example. Once we got to a certain age, we will go out and run around, and mom will come back, dad will come back later, and we end up, come home like 7-8 hours later when they're sleeping. So I know the bond between, humans to humans in family is very important, but it's very different experiencing this with a dog. And Cody was with my wife and I, before we were married, and it was wild, really wild to have him pass, last week. But I wanted to share that with you because I think as a human race, we look and see what has happened. We've had these hurricanes in the U.S., Puerto Rico, Florida, Texas. We had earthquake in Mexico. We had a psychotic one or group of people we don't even really know who did this massive shooting in Vegas. And what I don't understand, especially, I'm in the U.S., so I can only speak about here, my experience here, is why is it when every time, a crisis happens, we're always running to help each other, regardless of race, regardless of color, religion, whatever it may be, your belief system, your political action or political side, I should say, we're all jumping to help each other. But when there's no crisis, we're at each other's backs. And I think, and I hate to say this, that as a society, we kind of crave the crisis. And that's really an unhealthy thing, but we crave these types of crisis, maybe unintentionally, because they bring us all together. I never want to have a shooting. I never want to have a hurricane or an earthquake that is going to take lives, take human life and animal life and all sorts of different things. But what we can learn from this is that we're all human. And I know I kind of sound like, I'm preaching here, but we are all human. And when it comes down to it, when we actually help one another, and we see this on TV now with all the news that's happening, that people are risking their lives to help save other lives, that act of compassion, why don't we not have that when we're actually happy? Why do we not have that when there's no crisis going on in our world? So what I wanted all of you to do is to really dig down deep and think, what can you do? What can you do today or tomorrow to share with someone in your community, someone in a church, in a temple, a school, maybe a professor, maybe your doctor, maybe a niece, a nephew, someone you really may not connect with all the time? Why don't you send them a letter, send them something in the mail? We all use our technology, and it's nice to get an email or a text from someone, but I'll tell you what, you drop a line, send somebody, hey, just thinking of you in the mail. It's an awesome thing. And when it comes down to your life and lifestyle, there are a lot of things that I think we could do. And hence, Lifestyle Locker Radio, I would love for all of us as a community, all the listeners, and all listeners to all the other lifestyle-based podcasts and websites and so on and so forth. Why don't we just start to band together? What if we actually had a healthy society, a healthy community, healthy thinking society and community? How much different would this world be? With all of this going on, I don't say stumbled upon all of this. I've kind of created all this in my life. It started this past week when my dog passed away. I started Scott Riley's, who was a few episodes back. I started his 6-week shift. Next weekend, I'm going to be going to Dr. Joe Dispenza's progressive workshop. He will actually be on the podcast in about a week. I am also doing some breath work in New York City workshop with Casper Vandermeulen. So I'm really trying to do my part for all of you. So the more knowledge I can gain, the more I can share, the more we can teach, and the more we can just give as a company, as Lifestyle Locker and as me, Josh Hant, because I want to give back. And the more chaos I see, the crazier this world gets, the more I think we need better people doing better things. And I know all of you out there are. So like I said, first action step I would love for all of you to do is to go ahead. If you have a dog, give him a hug and a kiss and pet him and all of those good things. Give him a little treat. Don't get him fat, but give him a little treat. But then also go ahead and, send that letter. Also, you can make a phone call or text, but I think taking an action step to share with a family or friend or someone, let them know you're thinking of them and you hope they're well and blah, 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 blah. Say something nice. You're smart. You know what to do. I would definitely do that. And third, give yourself a challenge. Set a target. This year is coming to end. 2017 is finishing up pretty darn soon. What do you got going on for 2018? And I don't want to say you should wait till, December 31st to start writing down maybe some of your goals and targets for 2018. These are some of the thoughts that actually should be going through your head now. We see what's going on in this world. We see some of the chaos. So what things proactively can you do for yourself to actually get yourself better? And there's one last thing I just want to comment on is, I was driving around my community today, and I think as a community or maybe even a country, I know my town, all I see is, I see these signs on people's yards. I see political things for people to vote for, this person and that person. But I see all of these signs that say, stop this, don't do that, vote against this. I think we live in such a reactionary society that we like, again, this goes back to being in crisis. We wait for that crisis to happen so we can kind of jump forward. Excuse me. So what if we start to, I can't even talk right now. My head's going crazy. But what if we actually started to promote and be proactive and, do things that are proactive in the sense, not saying stop doing this. It would be, you should do this. Like, do stuff positive on social media. Share cool stuff. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of people sharing the bad, because I tell you what, there's a lot of crap going on in this country and in this world, but we need to see some of the light as well. So give yourself some light, share some light, shed some light on some people, do something positive. And lastly, I mentioned a few of the seminars and things that I'm doing myself these next couple of weeks, and I'm going to drop a couple links in the show notes for all of you about these programs. These are great mind programs. To give you an example, I started the 6-week shift, and part of the 6-week shift is a breathing program. And you kind of test yourself, some of your physical capacity during it. And this is with Scott Riley. And, the first day I had a breath hold that it was for 34 seconds or 37 seconds, something like that. And 4 days later, I was just at the 2-minute mark of holding my breath. And having my lungs being hyperoxygenated, my body feeling unbelievable. But in 4 days, I'm having a pretty amazing shift. So you all can do programs like this. Lifestyle Locker will be hopefully having in the very, very near future some programs that are going to be awesome, that are going to be for you. All right, they're going to be made and designed for you so you actually can be well, get well. But you know what? Lifestyle is not just about your health or your fitness. Lifestyle is about being healthy, being wealthy, and really, most importantly, finding out how to be happy in life, because, people want to be happy, but they want to be happy, and then what they do, they try to buy their happiness, right? They try to buy a new shirt, a new car, a new whatever. And, I think those things are great. You can have things. I'm not opposed to that, but those are not the things that should keep you happy. You really need to search inside to get some happiness. And right now I'm searching for someone who's an expert on happiness, and I'd love to have him on this podcast. So if you do know someone, let me know. So check the show notes, guys. I appreciate you listening to me rant. Have a fantastic day, and you can look forward to some really awesome podcasts coming up. Just to kind of drop a couple names, we got Dr. Josh Axe, we got Dr. Joe Dispenza, we got Scott Riley coming in for a second round, talk about cold baths and ice baths and those types of things. Then we have Ben Greenfield of Ben Greenfield Fitness, who you may know. So look forward to sharing more and more with you. Let us know in the comments, what you like, what you don't like, because I want to know it all. And if you wouldn't mind, be nice, send a shout out, leave me a good 5-star review. Maybe if it was 6 stars, you can do 6 stars. But thank you guys so much. Catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye.